Ladies and gentlemen, right now, we want to bring forth to the stage a very special guest, the undisputed.
Nah, son, baby. And this is another episode.
Can't help but swing it, boy. Swing it, brother, swing.
And this is your host. Nah, son, baby. Here we go.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, Nasam, baby, and this is another episode of Swingers After Dark, and I'm with the HKIC. That's the head king in charge of swing culture. And I've been in the game for a long time, and the guest I'm bringing on, I respect this cat. I respect this dude, and that says a lot because I don't respect a lot of motherfuckers in the lifestyle. But that's neither here or there. So I wanted to bring him on because he's been in the game since the 90s. Yeah, since the 90s. And not only has he been in the game since the 90s, he's also married, which means that he's not in a cardboard cookie cutter relationship like a lot of motherfuckers are, in the lifestyle. They bring their date and they want to swap. But it's like, anyway, we'll get to that later. So my man, King. So, how's it going? I'm trying to, striving to get, I ain't going to say try because trying means to fail. I've been striving to get you on for a long time, and here you are. How's everything?
Man, everything is everything, brother. I'm just maintaining, man. It's finally good to be on the show. I'm glad we was able to connect,
I that's cool and all, but fuck all the formalities. So, how long?
You want to get right to the shit.
Yeah. Listen. We gotta talk that shit. So it's like, what when people step foot in a lifestyle? Let's say I'm a single male. Like, what should I expect as far as the difference between how a lot of dudes have a lot of misconceptions about the lifestyle. They think that just because they'll go to a swing party, they may get they're going to get easy ass or free pussy. You feel me? So what is the misconception that could break? What misconceptions that you could break if you were to school me as a single male coming into the game, into the lifestyle?
I would say to single men coming into the lifestyle, you hear it all the time, right? First thing you need to do is your research, right? It's like, any type of thing you're going to endeavor into, you're going to embark upon, you want to know what you're getting into. You want to be informed, right? You don't want to go somewhere like you're going to a certain occasion and not know the dress code. You dig me?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to do some research, talk to some people that's already in the lifestyle, and if you're embarking upon it on yourself, find out what the terminologies are, what the lingos are, what the acronyms are, and find out what's the proper way to not only approach couples, but just to approach females in general, period. How to just approach people. Because I find that a lot of single males, and I don't want to really kind of like lean on single males because of single females too, but a lot of them just lack the proper etiquette.
So should I be on some caveman shit, like just whip out my dick and be like Scorpion on Mortal Kombat, like, get over here, like, should I be like that, or should I talk to her as if, I'm at a regular nightclub, because people think that just because, women are showing flesh, that means they busting it open for any and everybody. So explain the approach.
Yes, that's a misconception because, like, you hear swingers and you feel, okay, these women are more sexually liberal or loose, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I'm going to just come through, dick swinging out of my knees and they just going to hop on it and take turns. It's not like that, man. It's still anything that you do in the life, man, is business, whether it's business or whatever the case may be, it's still communication skills, you feel me? So the cat that's smooth, the cat that can engage in dialogue, can engage in conversation, and doesn't come across as too thirsty, too aggressive, or even as a threat, that's the cat that's going to be getting, what he wants out of the lifestyle, or 90% of the time he'll get more of what he's setting out to do versus the dude that comes in there thinking, oh, okay, they fucking, so I'm fucking. That don't mean because they fucking that you're automatically fucking, especially when you're approaching a couple. Because when you're approaching a couple, the first thing you want to do is you want to approach them together as a team. They're a couple. They're a team. You dig me? And now it's like a job interview, because then the cat gotta like you, and the lady gotta like you. And it's harder for some dudes to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna trust my wife with you. Like, this is my wife. You dig what I'm saying to you? Like, we go home, we have a family, we have children, all that. It's not like some side fling. So this is like my wife. So for me to be able to say, okay, I think this dude is cool, that I can give my wife the green light to play with him, he's got to make an impression on me as well, too. So now you got your job is twice as hard. So now you got to impress the woman and you got to impress the man. Follow me?
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, because, you know, a lot of dudes, even chicks, you know, chicks be on this shit too. So, you know, they come into the lifestyle and they meet somebody. But as soon as they get wiped up or get in a serious relationship, they want to leave the game, and then when they break up, they want to come back. So how do you, what is your thoughts about dudes? You know, they don't want to share their women, but they'll share their side piece or they jump off, and they got a whole wife at home who don't even know about their extracurricular activities on the lifestyle. What do you think about that? Because men and women do that.
Yeah, you know how we say that's non-cipher right there, because at the end of the day,
wait, hold on, King. Hold on, King. For the slow motherfuckers, non-cipher means no. Keep on.
It means no, pretty much. It's non-cipher. Like, we not vibing with that, because at the end of the day, the lifestyle, I'm going to say, is supposed to be, right, an open, non-judgmental environment. Now, I don't have a problem if a female comes in or a dude come in and they meet someone in the lifestyle and they take time out to work on their relationship, then return to the lifestyle as a couple, because it's levels. You dig what I'm saying? And jealousy is a real thing. I don't give a fuck. You've been swinging for 199 years. You're going to get jealous at some point, male or female. So I always say, when you come in, you meet someone you think that you know you vibing with in a special way, yeah, take a break. You feel me? Get to know each other. And then y'all come back stronger and better as a couple. But for those who just come in, snatch up a chick and bounce, or a chick that just come in, snatch up a dude and bounce, and then come back with it's all said and done. Now, you're not really about this. You're just using this for your own personal gain. And this is more of a community. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you've been in a lifestyle before the animal called the social media, the weirdness called social media. Around the time, you know, the internet, when, like, the websites, it looked like a fucking 8-bit Nintendo game. Now everything is real. So how did you lay the groundwork with you and your wife when you transition from the 90s, you know, pre-internet, to the current era where, like, you have a lot of options, you have a lot of, you know, stimuli, social media, and it could really, you know, make your relationship murky. So how would you lay the foundation with your wife and the lifestyle? Because it's accessible. The access is crazy.
Yeah. First, let me say that's an excellent question, bro. That's an excellent question. I'm gonna answer the question like this: it's different for everybody. You dig what I'm saying? Like, me and my wife was never no L7s, right? For the slow motherfuckers, that's square. We wasn't never no square. So when I met my wife in '96. I was home from spring break from college. I met her that summer, and we was doing lifestyle shit before we even knew that it was a lifestyle over swinging. You know, we was popping off to each other friends. I would smash our homegirls. I call a couple of my homeboys over. We'll all get it in. So our relationship has always been a relationship where we can trust each other as far as, okay, we understand that sex and love is two separate things. You dig me? So I've never been in a monogamous relationship ever in my life. So it was an easier transition for me, right? So from the 8-bit Nintendo, right, I don't really want to, you know, diss on the sites, but the foundation of the sites and going to the club and going to small meet and greets and meeting couples that way, it was totally different, because then we were dealing with a lot more couples. So when you're dealing with couples, the rules are a little bit more established. And I'm not saying all couples, but for the most part, it's not like the Wild Wild West where it is right now, social media, these different social media handles. So, you know, we made the transition, but we also had our hiccups as well, too. We human. We ain't perfect. So, you know, I was out there slipping, she was out there slipping, but the most important thing is that C word, communication. So as long as you can come back and communicate with your partner, and figure out, okay, which course we gonna take now because the time changed. The same person that you was, last year is not the same person you are this year or 10 years ago. So as you grow and your relationship grow, which is the word ship, right, at the end of it, right? Mm-hmm. Relationship, to be able to relate to each other within that ship. So as we go on that journey, we continue to relate to each other through communication. You dig me?
Mm-hmm. So how was that?
I ain't talking so fast.
See, you talking that shit, but you talking that shit now, but how was it like when you first saw your wife play with another dude?
Well, like I said, Wade, when I met my wife December '96, right, when we was just, hanging out, chilling, we was always playing with each other, friends, playing meaning engaging and stuff.
Okay, let me back up. Yeah, so the first time before you met your wife, how was it like? How did you get in that space where you don't have a problem with seeing your wife or your chick getting it in with another dude? Because a lot of dudes, they don't know how to stomach, or they can't stomach that. So that's why they lead a lifestyle. That's why they lead a lifestyle when they get in a relationship, because they can't stomach seeing they main squeeze getting it in with another dude, and the dude may be fucking her in a way that she never been fucked before. So what is your thought process that you have to have, for the mentality that you have to have once you step foot into the lifestyle?
My mentality is like Maximus. Is this not why you're here? But seriously though, seriously speaking, like I said earlier, right, jealousy is a real thing. So it may be times where we can go out and we can rock out, there's no issue. You dig me? And then you might go out another time, and then energy motion might spark through you. And you might feel some type of way for whatever reason it may be. But the most important thing is just communicating. So the first time I think I ever felt something like that, it was a while back. We went to a joint. Where was it? It was probably about like 10 years ago, probably 12 years ago. We went to a joint, beautiful mansion party, beach party and everything. And she was engaging. You dig what I'm saying to you? Mm-hmm. And she hit one of them high notes I never heard her hit before. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I'm engaging with somebody else too. Man, my shit went from baseball bat to motherfucking spaghetti string. So even though I just said to myself, let me just focus on what I'm doing, you understand what I'm saying? Because different people react differently to each other. Everybody's sexual chemistry is different. So that was a lesson that I learned that particular day. So this is not for everybody. You get what I'm saying to you? So for the cats who bounce and leave and don't never come back, then maybe it ain't for them once you have an emotional attachment to somebody. And for those who come back, maybe it is for them. That's why you slow walk yourself into this, because being in the LS as a single individual and being in the LS as a couple is like the sun and the moon, bro. Two different worlds.
Because now you have something to care for. It's like there's a difference between living rent free from you owning the house, and you got to make sure everything is on point. You feel me? Because it's your money going into that.
Yeah, that's an excellent analogy, bro.
Like it's crazy to fuck shit up. Like, it's not to cut you off, but it's crazy to fuck shit up when you're living in the projects and your rent is like $60 a month, and you pissing in the hallways and in elevators and leaving fucking blunt wrappers and potato chips on the floor, as opposed to, okay, you got to keep your home groomed. It's you paying for this. You're paying thousands of dollars or even millions for this. So, like, explain the difference between, as a single male, he don't care that his side piece is fucking any and everything, but his main chick, he's making sure he want to, know his full name, his phone number, where he work at, this, that, and the third. So how would you vet the dude? How's your way of vetting the dude before he plays with your wife?
I would say this, Wade. Some, and I don't want to just pick on the dudes. Some people don't want to be vetted. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They just want what they want, period. So it all depends on the environment. And it all depends on my wife and I's mindset when we go out to engage. We might leave the house and say, you know what, tonight is orgy night. We just going to go in. You know what I'm saying? We just going to go hard. I'm going this way. You going that way, we meet up together in the middle. And then, so it all depends on the event and the environment. It may be other environments where it's a little bit more how it used to be back in the days, where you're going to sit down and talk to each other and vet each other and find out each other's rules. So in a situation where it might be Buck Wild Night, then we just doing us. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily about that single person. It's about us doing us. You dig me? And on the other night, where things are a little bit more, I would say, let's just say traditional for the sake of saying the word traditional, because they ain't traditional about what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then we may sit back and vet. Because when you're a veteran in this situation, like, they might think that they getting one over on you, but you see them coming, bro. It's like anything else. You see a rookie cop. You dig me?
Mm-hmm. But it
depends on what you want that night for your personal experience, you and your partner's personal experience.
So how would you handle conflict in regards to disrespect? It's like, what would make you want to be diplomatic, and on one hand, but on the other hand, you want to put a motherfucker on blast? So how would you decide whether you should deal with the matter diplomatically or in a diplomatic way? Excuse me, ain't no such words as diplomatic. I gotta lay off the fucking Henny. But yeah, so how would you how would you handle diplomacy? Yes, diplomacy. How would you handle a situation with diplomacy as opposed to going to war?
It just depends on the level of disrespect. You know, if somebody does something inadvertently, you know, as a man, you owe them that, you know, because we make mistakes too. We human, you know, we all make mistakes. But if somebody does something blatantly disrespectful to you or your partner, then it depends on what it is. If you're going to just say, you know what, it's not worth the conflict, we're just going to walk away, or if it's something where it has to come to that. In a lot of cases, you just walk away and you know, it's this thing called a blacklist. You know, I hate to refer to it as a blacklist because it seems like everything negative is black, but let's just say the list. Mm-hmm. It's the list.
The no-fly zone. The no-fly zone.
Yeah, the no-fly zone. So you let other couples know, you let other party promoters know, you know, this person right here is not good for business. And then, you know, you hope that a lot of the promoters and the other couples or whatever the case may be would take heed and kind of just keep them in the no-fly zone, because some people do belong in the no-fly zone. You know what I'm saying?
So what are some traits that a chick may do to disrespect your relationship as opposed to a guy, or is it the same level of disrespect? Are chicks more scandalous than dudes when it comes to being some sneaky shit?
Yeah, listen, man, who's the first teacher, Playboy? Mama, right? You dig me? So, fellas, we might think we got game, but we learn our game from our women, like Pac said. You know, even the strongest pimp out there, right before that bottom bitch is a bottom bitch for a reason. His first bottom bitch was his teacher. So somebody had to teach him the game. Mm-hmm. You dig? So with women, like, you know that I'm in a relationship. You know I'm married. You know how we move. There's no reason why you should be coming at me behind my wife's back. Mm-hmm. Because couples talk. You got to understand that. And when couples been together a long time, they're friends, too. Let's get back to that same ship. The relationship is also a friendship. Mm-hmm. Keyword is ship. You dig me? So we talk about everything. Like, there's nothing that I can't say in front of one of my homeboys. If my wife could be right there and I could say the same exact shit. There's nothing to hide. You dig me? So the word is going to come across. As long as you true to your vows, or you true to the rules of your relationship, it's going to come out. So females could come at you a lot of different ways, man. You got the old damsel in distress. You got the straight disrespectful chick. You got the sneaky chick. You know the different characters. You know, so it's up to you. If you open the front door, it's the only way they can come in. You did?
So I remember we were at, I think it was Philly. And we was at some hotel party, and you know, your wife was in the pool, and you know, I was rapping to her, you know, talking to her, you know, just on a casual conversation. And I saw you, you know, you were playing spades, and you know, your awareness was so on point that you were looking to see what we were doing, and I felt the heat from your eyes. So I was like, you know what? Well, let me walk away. Not to say that, you know, you didn't fuck with me talking to your queen, but it kind of reminded me that, you know, you never know who's watching you. That's why you have to watch how you move, and you don't even know who else is watching you move. So I peeped that from the gate, and that goes back to our conversation when you was like, you know, you're vetting the dude, or you want to know the dude who's talking to your chick. You understand me? So it's like,
yes,
you have to be very attentive, because there's a lot of scumbags in the lifestyle, and they try to do some underhanded shit. So how would you get to the point where, you know, you and your wife have ESP, even though you're keeping an eye on her to make sure she's safe and secure? How would you get that ESP to the point where, you know, if I could leave my wife alone with this dude, I don't have to worry about anything?
Well, again, it's just the you vet that person. You know, you get a chance to spend some time with them and get to know that person.
Because you didn't know me at the time.
No, I didn't. But the thing is this, right? You got to remember, the same way that I'm keeping my eye on her, she's keeping her eye on me. It's our responsibility to take care of each other when we leave to go into a sexually charged environment where it could be alcohol, drugs, or other things that's going on. Not necessarily mean that you personally may be indulging in it, but other people may be. You understand? So, you know, when those substances become involved, sometimes people's decision-making process gets a little skewed. So when there's somebody that my wife is, like, say, for instance, a female that she's never met before, I've never met before, and she see one girl rapping to me because she's interested, she's going to keep an eye to make sure everything is cool as well, too. So if the lady or the chick and I decide that we might want to have little play sessions, we got all the rules set up. Well, okay, sweetheart, let me introduce you to my wife. See, this is such and such. We gonna be playing, so my wife know now that this chick agrees that we have consent before we go anywhere. You dig me? If we're separating, I'm in room such and such, this room number right here. Come check on me in 10, 15 minutes. Make sure I'm good. Pop up. Okay, you good? Okay, boom. You know what I'm saying? If you want to stay, you stay. You leave, you come back, whatever. So we have different little security measures in place. But again, life ain't perfect. People ain't perfect. Shit's not perfect. So you do the best that you can to keep each other safe.
So how would you go about mending the fences if there comes to a point where you and your wife, you don't see eye to eye, or you come across a conflict that needs to be rectified ASAP? Do y'all have a sit down? Well, of course you have a sit down, but how do you go over the situation to make sure it doesn't happen again, and to make sure that you come back to where you had left off with the relationship?
Well, if it's a situation right then and there, then it gets shut down right then and there. And we'll talk about it later, because you got to remember, you're in a festive environment, and you don't want your personal issues to affect the mood of that environment. So then if it's something, because we came here together, you dig? So if there's something I'm doing that she don't like, then she has all rights to shut that shit down. She shut it down, and we talk about it on our way home, when we get home, you know what I'm saying, when the situation calmed down, and then vice versa. And I recommend that's the best way to do it. You don't want to be in the middle of a party argument. Trust me, been there, done that, doesn't work.
And you know what I hate, to go to segue into another topic. You know what I hate, when people act like, or they say shit like, you know, the lifestyle is not the same. It's not how it used to be, or fuck the lifestyle. So what do you say to people who, you know, voice those sentiments? Because I think those type of people, it's like they stay in their comfort zone and they don't go out to see different people, different demographics, and different parties. So what would you say about the lifestyle now, and also how would you compare it from the 90s to now?
Well, I think you kind of hit me with the question and the answer at the same time. You kind of hit the nail right on the head. It's the lifestyle is your lifestyle experience. So it's like anything else, man. If you want to keep shopping at Walmart and say, okay, Walmart's always running out of this particular product, and you choose not to go to another store, I don't know, Pathmark's still in business, or Walgreens, or somewhere else, whatever you want, then you just getting a Walmart experience. You got to understand something. There's a million swingers worldwide. So then literally millions or hundreds of millions of things going on. So if you're stuck in a particular demographic, or you're stuck in a particular group of particular setting of people, and you're only getting a certain type of experience, then you owe it to yourself to go out there and venture and kind of spread your wings. So I would say, if to someone who's saying, oh, the lifestyle is not what it used to be, no, that's your fault. Because you can have the lifestyle experience that you want, particularly by just searching for your tribe or searching for what you want.
But people just want to complain. And, you know, Those are the type of people, they want to eat shit and complain because they're not getting nutrients from eating shit. So it's just people who want to complain just to complain, because you have those types of people. Then you have people who are solution oriented, who actually say, okay, let me see what the lifestyle got to offer by traveling, going to cruises, going to resorts, and going to different hotel functions and this, that, and the third. And speaking of hotel functions, like, what is the difference between, house parties and hotel parties? Do you think that the lifestyle kind of got, murky, or not even murky, but like how do you feel about the transition from house parties to hotel parties?
Well, it's two different environments. It all depends on what you're looking for. Again, your lifestyle experience. In my personal experience, I've attended both hotels and house parties or estate or mansion parties. And I just say that it's just levels. You have classy hotel parties. One of the largest events, Naughty New Orleans, is nothing but a hotel party. But it's the quality of people that attend that party. It's always about the quality. In my experience, hotel parties don't tend to be as private as if it's a house party or a mansion party where it's a private invite and, it's more of an intimate setting. With a hotel party, like, everybody's just everywhere, and sometimes people just disappear, so you don't really get that type of experience versus as everyone is under that same roof in the open space and you have access to everyone. But it all depends on who your host is and the quality of people that's attending the event.
And okay, so tell me, you run a website called SwingCulture.com. Swing Culture. Tell everybody the premise of Swing Culture, like the mission and what is it about and what should people expect.
Well, the website is actually my wife's website. She runs the site. Swing Culture is something that started years ago, actually. She first started a site called Eye Candy Treats, and it was a site where she would basically just sell novelty items, toys and stuff like that. And then she just decided to kind of like bring people together. So then she had the Freak Nation, and then the Swing Culture group, where we have just a large group of different lifestylers, swingers from all over the country, all over the world. And the purpose of just bringing people together is to make it easier for people within certain demographics to find the type of experience that they want. So recently it has morphed into her podcast, the Swing Culture podcast, where she basically does what you're doing, just educating the masses on what the lifestyle is about, but not only just the swing lifestyle, but just the alternative lifestyle as well, too. So whether you're a nudist or you're into kink, BDSM, whether you're into poly relationships, it's just for those who want to meet like-minded people, learn about the rules and vetting, and then in some cases it's entertainment purposes. If you want to listen to something a little bit different than the norm, then you can just tune in and just check out what she has to say.
And what are the duties of a veteran in the lifestyle to school the youngins about the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts and proper etiquette?
I think when veterans complain that shit fucked up, it's their fault that it's fucked up. It's like the older generation complaining about the newer generation. So that means that you failed somebody, right? I'm gonna go back to the same reference when I was using this what's the name of this damn movie again? With Maximus in that movie. What's the name of that movie again? Oh shit! Yeah, you know the joint I'm talking about, right? Yeah, with Russell Crowe. Yeah, but when before the king when the king was at his last stage of his life, and he told her son, and he said to him, your failures are my shortcomings as a father. Mm-hmm. So if I want the next generation or the next wave of
Gladiator.
Gladiator, that's it, Gladiator. So if I want the next wave of people that's coming in to kind of grasp the concept of what it's about, then it's up to me as a vet to really say, hey, listen, especially if you're a party promoter, right? You're supposed to have certain duties. It's not just a cash grab. I see some promoters is just about the cash grab. You know, they're not interested in creating a safe environment for everybody, an environment where people are educated, an environment where people walk into the spot with confidence, knowing that they're going to come there safe and leave there safe. So yeah, that shit falls on us vets. So it is our duty to say, hey, listen, this is the way it goes. This is the way you approach a couple. This is the way you approach a single. This is the way the foundations for this shit is laid down. Because without rules and regulations, there's chaos. You feel me?
And newbies will only do what you allow them to do, correct?
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. People only do what you allow them to do.
And that goes for newbies and vets.
Yes, we're fucked up ass vets out there. Okay. I tell you, I'm a vet 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. But because you've been doing it's like this, right? Because you've been doing something for a long period of time or a sustainable period of time, does that mean it don't mean you've been doing that shit the right way? You know what I'm saying to you? I'm a carpenter. Yeah, you a fucked up carpenter for the last 15 years, but you fucked up houses. You know what I'm saying? So because you've been doing it, don't mean you've been doing it good. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because a lot of vets need to be vetted. A lot of vets need to be vetted. The vets need to be vetted. To be honest with you.
Because knowledge is infinite. Things are always changing. So when you look at the state of the LS when it first started, let's just go back to the military days, right? When it first started in the Air Force, right? To how it just changed over a period of time, which is one thing in life that is definitely guaranteed that it's changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as it changed, people adopt, and as you adopt, the rules adopt. So the lifestyle that we're experiencing, what we experienced 5 years ago is not going to be the same lifestyle that's going to be around 5 years from now, because people have to adopt to the rules as things change.
It's survival of the fittest. If you don't adopt or adapt, you're going to perish. You feel me? But break down, before we leave out of here, break down the military, beginnings of the swing lifestyle in the United States.
In the continental U.S., it started back during World War II, in the 1940s, in the Air Force. And the reason why I started in the Air Force is because the Air Force is one faction of the U.S. military that has a very high mortality rate. So the wives and the husbands, the couples, lived in a very close-knit environment. Sometimes your husband would go away and not come back. So they would, as a sense of community, they would turn to each other for comfort. And they would have this thing that's called key parties, where they would put their keys into a jar, and whatever key you drew out that jar was whose wife you were spending the night with. So that's how, and it wasn't called, I forgot what it was called back then. It was wife swapping or whatever the case may be. Don't quote me on that. But then it morphed and evolved from then. So when the war ended, people went their separate ways and settled into their neighborhoods, the idea caught on like wildfire. And then, you went through it the 50s and then the 60s. And then I think you had Plato's Retreat, either in the early 80s or the late 70s, where it became more...
in New York City, right? That club in New York City.
Yes. Yes, where it became, more prevalent as the sexual... the
revolution.
Sexual movement went on, the revolution went on, and people stopped being, ashamed to talk about sex, and birth control came out in the 60s, and, all the other things that transpired kind of fueled the movement,
Yeah, because I first heard about wife swapping when I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and, he was doing the talcum powder thing, giving massages, and he briefly, spoke about, couple swapping, wife swapping in the suburbs. And I was like, all right, that was my first time, catching wind about it.
But what our listeners need to understand is that monogamy is not a natural occurrence in nature. The way that our physiology does not dictate for us to be monogamous creatures. The only time that there are more male children born on this planet is during the time of war. You can research this. A woman has a 9-month gestation period. Within that 9 months, God knows how many women a man could impregnate within that time. So it is more of a Western philosophy. I'm not sure exactly how old monogamy is, but it's not that old, and contrary to polygamy. So for those of us who came here not by choice, our actual culture of polygamy.
All right, and on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Nasun, baby. Check out my website at www.nasunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. It'll make you say, na, ow. And shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com. And hit me up with any questions or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. Dig. And on that note, until next time, peace. You know.